Guys, are you seeing the vision? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. It is Mr. Cowboys fan. Of course, before we proceed, leave a like and subscribe. It is I, Mr. Cowboys fan, where we talk about cowboy things. Alright, so pretty much we know about, of course, the Dallas Cowboys and, us talking about how, it seems like they, don't care about the running back position. They have Zeke, but then you have a few other possibles, like ones who haven't really made a mark quite yet in this league. And I can understand why some people can be a little frustrated by that. The fact that we passed on a Trey Benson, the fact that we passed on a Blake Corum, a Jonathan Brooks, matter of fact, that Jerry just couldn't seem to freaking keep his mouth shut about. Um, but either way, yes, yes, I get it. I'm guilty as charged. I was a little frustrated at the time when we kept on passing up a running back as well. But the more that I look at it, the more that it really starts to hit home for me and starting to realize and see the plan and vision that the Joneses have. Because you see, there's a reason, of course, why I have a Denver Broncos picture down here, of course, and not I don't know, a Dallas Cowboys offensive line picture. Because at the end of the day, Emmitt Smith was our running back, and he would end up becoming a Hall of Famer. We don't have an Emmitt Smith in our backfield. Let's just keep it a bean. So either way, yeah. So the fact of the matter is the Denver Broncos offensive line back when Mike Shanahan was coaching there. Now, sadly, I couldn't find a picture of their offensive line during the period that I felt like their offensive line impressed the most. And that was during the 2000s. This is a picture, of course, of the Broncos offensive line in the late 90s when they had a healthy Terrell Davis in his prime. And we know Terrell Davis is a Hall of Famer. Granted, I don't think he would have been the same running back or would have had the same career if he was running behind the Lions offensive line. I'm talking about back then, not this current Lions offensive line. No, that they got some beasts up front there. But either way, no. So during that point in the 2000s of the Broncos offensive line when Terrell Davis was starting to be bothered by injuries, I don't know if you remember these names, but they had they had a running back whose name was Olandis, who rushed for over 1,100 yards. They later had Mike Anderson, another name that probably not very many people remember. That guy, they made a 1,400-yard rusher and later another 1,000-yard rusher. There was Clinton Portis, who they had running behind that O-line for a few years, even though Clinton Portis, he was actually, you could say pretty good. But, you know, then they had guys like Travis Henry, Selvin Young. They had all these no-name running backs that you've never heard of probably that either rushed for over 1,000 yards, or they had a running back by committee that rushed for a decent amount of yards. In remember in 2005, the Denver Broncos finished that season 13-3, and they made it all the way to the AFC Championship game. That year, they had a running back tandem of Mike Anderson, who rushed for over 1,000 yards, and Tatum Bell. Tatum Bell, who almost rushed for over 1,000 yards himself. My point is, these guys had valuable production running the football, even averaging like 5 yards per carry when they did touch the ball. And these weren't household name running backs here now. These are not household names. But Mike Shanahan had a vision. He believed that if I can build my offensive line and make it so dominant, then I don't have to worry about spending draft capital or spending money or whatever on a household name, highly touted running back. I don't have to do that. There's a reason why he was willing to part with Clinton Portis, because Clinton Portis was in a bit of a contract dispute with Denver and was trying to get his money, because he's like, hey, I just rushed for over 1,500 yards back-to-back seasons. I'm about to do it again, and I just did it again, and I'm probably going to do it again in my contract year. I believe that I deserve to get paid. I believe that you guys, I deserve to get paid. And the Broncos instead of paying him, they traded him away to the Washington Redskins. I know they're the Commanders now, but they were the Redskins at the time. So they traded him away to Washington, and in return, they would have a few more years under Mike Shanahan of relevancy. And, of course, that year in 2005, Mike Anderson rushed for over 1,000 yards. Tatum Bell nearly rushed for 1,000 yards. And they had the second-ranked rushing attack in the league. And that was without a highly touted household name running back running behind center. Running the ball, of course, behind center. And just follow your blocks, find the crease, find the hole, and then hit that hole and run it to the best of your ability. And that Broncos team had discipline. And, yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, I think that is the vision that Jerry and Stephen Jones have. They believe, why, use a draft pick on a running back like a Trey Benson, Jonathan Brooks, or Blake Corum, why do we need to get the running back to make, make the running game go? Why not just build this offensive line and make the offensive line make the running game. And we can just put an Ezekiel Elliott, a Rico Dowdle, or Deuce Vaughn, or maybe a Royce Freeman, in the backfield, and then get the ball handed off to him. And everybody just puts a hat on a guy, and then boom, next thing you know, the running back, before he even gets touched, is already 5 to 6 yards down the field. So I believe that is the vision and the plan that the Joneses have. Let's think outside the box a little bit. Instead of, fixing our running game by trying to get a running back, why not just build and get offensive line help, and especially a road grader like Cooper Beebe, who they can make the running game go. So the fact of the matter is, to close, I think that the vision, I don't think it's a bad one. I'm going to be honest. I don't think it is a bad vision by the Dallas Cowboys for believing in this, because it has worked for us before in the past. Remember back when we didn't want to pay DeMarco Murray all that money that he believed that he deserved after leading the league in rushing and rushing for over 1,200 yards the year before that. But his injury problems was, of course, what, made us not want to do that. And so we let him walk and go to the Philadelphia Eagles. And we wound up picking up Darren McFadden in free agency. He winds up becoming an 1,100-yard rusher that 2015 season. And we had a little bit of a running back by committee going that year. And we finished the year as a top 10 rushing attack in the league. And I know you're probably thinking, well, then if the running game was that good and the offensive line made it that dominant, then why in the world did we go 4-12? You know why we went 4-12. Because we also had a quarterback by committee as well. Tony Romo got hurt. Brandon Whedon came in. We found out immediately that he's trash. And so then we went to Matt Castle, and then he wasn't cutting it either. So then we had Kellen Moore to end out the season. There was no cohesion there, you can't win without a quarterback. And fact of the matter is, that's really what our biggest problem was. It wasn't the offensive line. It wasn't our inability to run the football. It was, the quarterback situation. So either way, they made a 1,800-yard rusher out of DeMarco Murray, and then later made a 1,600-yard rusher out of Ezekiel Elliott in his rookie year, and then some. So I think what their vision is, they can have a dominant offensive line who can road grade the heck out of an opposing team's front seven, and then the running back can just run behind them and then break loose, and then at that point it's all them at that point. And I think we have running backs who can get to the second level and still break free and bust open some nice runs. Rico Dowdle and Deuce Vaughn, but let me know how y'all feel about this, how do you feel about this, whole situation, and what I believe the vision is. And I think it's a great one. Do y'all agree? Let me know. But to all my audience, to all of Cowboys Nation, this is Mr. Cowboys Fan, out.